Hey guys, it's your Ford Mustang here, and today we're going to be showing you all the tasers behind the scenes in development with Ultimate Driving Jonesboro. And this game will be coming out on Thanksgiving break, as he expects it to be playable by then. But there are so many tasers that I like to show you behind the scenes with, tasers and extreme progress. There's one thing I like to say from Marcus's random announcements that pertains to the game. It talks about like a biome or the type of foliage that he uses in the game. And then there's also the official announcements, and we're going to be reading the two latest ones. But anyhow, without further ado, let's get started and get in depth with episode 72 of Ultimate Driving Leaks. So our first taser over here is when Marcus shows his highway on Jonesboro, or the first one among the many in the game. It starts out with Georgia East 176, a 4-lane highway that goes across, and you see that there's a neighborhood in the distance too. Notice he still uses the dark tar on the roads, or at least coloring out there. Probably not as dark as on Jonesboro, but still decently dark enough that you see black all over the road. Then he has some more pictures of this 4-lane highway. You notice that there are some curves going along, connecting to the road. All part of the development process over there. Here's a glimpse of the neighborhood. Probably the same neighborhood from a far distance that we've seen in the other picture. Over here there's like a 2-lane highway that connects to another one. You see that there are, at least 3 1-story houses and 2 of them are 2-story. Just adding some variety there. Seems like, like this one and the other one are different styles, which is a unique combination. I don't think you really see that in any other Ultimate Driving game. But we're going to go ahead and move on to this intersection over here, which he'll talk more about this route later at the end over here. But you'll see that there is an alternate route to Georgia 130, and then later on you'll see a picture of the main route for Georgia 130. And at this intersection, if you look further ahead, you also notice that there's a junction to Georgia Route 57. That's very interesting over here. And now, we move on over here to a glimpse of what he has developed so far. Just a neighborhood, rural roads, and stuff with the highway. Plans to put a spawn and a gas station over here. So now we're going to get into more highways that you see more of them are highlighted. From May 24th, he actually removed the neighborhood in Forsyth in a favor for a future shopping strip. So that neighborhood he put over here, which that's most likely what it is, he removed it and replaced it in favor for a shopping strip or a mall that you'll see in the game. So over here you see development, just another 4-lane highway with some roads connecting. You notice that they are highlighted in pink. I guess seeing them highlighted is more common in development pictures, especially in the early stages of the game. And this is where he announced that he created the parking lot for the new strip that he was creating. It took longer than usual because he had 5 different ideas for it, but he just decided to put the old parking lot that you see over there, kind of classic parking lot vibe, Same thing that you've seen in Jonesboro and Kent Island. If you're an OG of Ultimate Driving, you may remember similar parking lots like this with 240 different parking spaces to choose from, which is great for car meets. So much more you can do with it, like different events. And this would be a great place to do them in Jonesboro. It looks similar to Jonesboro too, like where he had that mall there, which eventually Jonesboro turned into a non-Canaan Ultimate Driving game. So if you've been around Ultimate Driving long enough, you'll be familiar with that. But yeah, I just have a familiar look with Jonesboro for the roads connecting around the parking lot. And I like the way how you'd see like just a square of grass surrounding your parking lot. I personally think that makes it more decorative as well. And then you see out there's like the empty sign towards the mall, which probably have text on it, in game's release. Then we move on to June 1st, and you see that the chances for this new strip that he built is likely a Target, but don't quote me on that, I think it might be just a Target or TJ Maxx, but it could definitely be something different as well. I kind of just think it's one of those two stores because it has the red around it, but yeah, it's kind of added a department store around there, kind of like what I said before, or Walmart around it. If you want a role play, some shopping, I don't think you could get into the building, but kind of definitely do some role plays just like outside of the door. But, yeah, and then you see like there's roads going around it. Here's the back of the strip, and you'll see that this would be a great place for a trucking team spawn, or if he doesn't add anything down there, it might be like a warehouse for truckers and mail truck drivers to pull their vehicles to load up their cargo. So yeah, and then you get not intersects over here, more interesting enough, 2-lane highway intersection that makes a Y shape between those two curves from the 4-lane highway that surrounds it. So you can see he's making some good progress over here. Now we move on to another highway, may just be a similarity from one before, surrounded by the fine grass and sidewalks, but notice how this is highlighted in blue instead of pink. It's something different that you don't see like from the other leagues I showed you. Yeah, there's just more progress over here, and then things start to get more exciting from June 10th till the end of the episode. Now, before we move on to that, he actually removed the idea of having Forsyth as a name in his game for one of the cities. He says also due to the recent comments and controversy around Forsyth County, thanks what he's gotten on TikTok, he would no longer use Forsyth as a city name. We are not going to get into any of the controversy that goes into that. It's basically a historic event that happened a couple years ago. Just going to not go into any detail about that. But yeah, if any one of you even bothers to bring the whole thing up, then I'm just going to go ahead and straight block you from Discord, Twitter, and anywhere throughout the FordMustangYT community, because of course that's unacceptable. We don't want any negativity over here. So yeah, just a heads up warning. If you were thinking about bringing it as a topic, you just gotta keep everything positive, But yeah, we're going to go ahead and, forget about that and just accept that Marcus will use a different name in place of Forsyth. But moving on to June 10th, you'll notice that over here is probably part of Jonesboro, one of the cities where you see more development. There's not just highways anymore. You see more houses along with trees as well. And then you'll see the arrow sign for one of the gas stations in the game. And it has the return of the black highway that you've seen there. the coloring on it. And it looks like there would also be a railroad in front of that intersection. And here are some more pictures. Another one in the neighborhood at least. See, a variety of those one-story houses. I think it looks very nice with the way he arranged it. Along with the trees that have the foliage around there. It looks nice. And yeah, just taking a look around the picture over here. Now, here's some unique stuff that Marcus has put down in this intersection with the traffic lights. So you see on this intersection, you see that the roads curve. Not like in a Y-shape, or maybe it might sort of, but not really. It makes a sharp curve over there towards the right. Well, another part of that, you could go to the left on this other road. And that's not the only thing that's interesting about it in terms of the road arrangement you see around here. You also see that the traffic lights are different. Like, you don't see anything like that in the other Ultimate Driving games before. Notice that this is wrapped around in black boxes, and you see that, on the leftmost traffic light, or maybe even the left too, though I can't fully tell with the circles around it. You'll see that there are arrows, which, I think in most Ultimate Driving games you will only get the green arrow, maybe the yellow arrow at most, but with this one, you got all three traffic light colors. And then, the second one might be the same thing, or it may be something completely unique and just have those lines. Most likely, I think just looking closely at that green light over here, it looks like that there's an arrow coming out of it, so it's most likely arrows. It would be very cool if you just had traffic lights that just had lines around it instead of the full color. And then over there on the right side, you see that there are green arrows that just tell you to keep going forward, especially when you are on the only lane, which you don't see any other traffic lights that only have one light on it and just mainly, tell you to keep going forward. It's that, yeah, that's very interesting. You do not see anything like this with any other games in Ultimate Driving. The traffic lights, most of the time you'll see either the yellow boxes around them like you see in Pennsylvania or in other states, maybe the black boxes, but not in the way that Marcus has done it. Instead of just having the full color on it, you see rather a unique pattern where it just has the arrows on it. And even the one light signals on the right side. Yeah, that brings a very unique experience to Jonesboro right there. Another unique experience is the traffic lights. Like I said before about having full-on color there, with this one instead, it has stripes going around it, like metal stripes going across each light to make a unique design and experience to the driver that is going across these traffic lights. It gives you their unique striped pattern, like when the traffic lights tell you to stop, go, or slow down. I think it looks very nice and brings an exciting change towards Ultimate Driving as well, because you really don't see that in other Ultimate Driving games, and I think that'll attract more people too, to just drive past this intersection and just play this game, because of course brings a unique experience, and you don't really see a lot of those traffic lights out in the real world. Well, maybe you do in some places, but I've personally never seen much of those. And then you also notice there that there's a bank over there as well, which you get a couple angles and views as we move on to the pictures. Moving on from that intersection, see here's a side of the bank, or a view of the drive-through at least. Here's another view of the bank in the distance with a couple of houses lined up over there. Some little trees that you see around. And, another view of the neighborhood. Just you get a nice view of the houses. You get some interesting street lanes like Fall Line Highway and Apple Street. Let's city would that be around in, but definitely somewhere in the Jonesboro map. And over here, he has an intersection of some new routes that you are about to find out being placed in Jonesboro. You got US 280, which goes west and east. You got Georgia Route 30, which I think that might be north-south route. But then you got Georgia Route 19, which is also west and east. It's likely that 30 will be north or south route. But again, you got some new route numbers and just like routes going up along the map in general. So yeah, it's something, exciting to hear. It's a nice info to know about the game. Then of course you see more trees densely packed around the houses in the picture. And then we move on to the city of Jeff Davis. One of the 4 new cities that'll be in the Jonesboro map. He says over here that it's going to be one of the smaller cities over here. So it looks like there'll be like 5 cities and there'll be 4 smaller ones. Jeff Davis is relatively small, but he'll plan on making it bigger in future installments. Hence the construction on the roads. So I bet he's adding construction around there for now, and maybe it'll be released. But he'll eventually make an update to Jeff Davis where the city itself will be bigger. It's that's something to look forward to right there. One what Jeff Davis will look like in the future. But over here, you see a picture, one of the entrances towards Jeff Davis. Here's another thing that you don't see in any of the Ultimate Driving maps, and I saw this as I was on the way down towards my vacation in Wildwood and Cape May, New Jersey. I think it was on New Jersey Route 47 that I saw sand on the sides of the roads. Not knowing that you will eventually see that over here in Jeff Davis in Jonesboro, Georgia as well, in Ultimate Driving. Many of might have seen it on Route 55, marked for New Jersey as well. But yeah, see of course it's densely surrounded by trees, and then construction over there with all those cones aligned on the sides of the roads, signaling that the city is going to expand in the future, which I find it very cool. I think the only other place that I can think of that has such construction cones over on the road is in Fontana Dam. I know that one road over there where it's mostly 2-lane, but then one of the lanes, I think it's on this left side over here, it's like closed and you have to go around it on this side. So I guess that's another thing that made that area in Fontana Dam will expand as well. But focusing on Jonesboro, I find it exciting that you also get a beach vibe despite not being by the coast. Just walking around the sand, that'll be very cool. But anyhow, after several minutes of talking about that, here are some other views of Jeff Davis. You see another glimpse of the intersection. Well, actually, no, you don't see Route 19. There you see US 80 and 30 merged. Georgia Route 30 merged with that. And then you see another route that's like going this way and along that curve, which is Georgia State Route 121. He even mentions it over here. One major intersection, US 280, blah blah blah, like I already said before. They see US Georgia 121 there. So yeah, you also see a parking lot with some charging stations. I just really like the way how that road just curves around and you see another nice arrangement of trees. I find it very interesting. Then you see some yellow surroundings on these traffic lights. A spawn over here. Cones from one of the entrances for Jeff Davis. And even a curve. So I think this section of Jeff Davis looks very nice. Even the whole city in general. Here's a picture. Another entrance towards Jeff Davis. I think this is on Georgia State Route 121. Leading past that curve that you've seen in the previous picture. just densely surrounded in forested trees. Very nice. And if you look carefully enough, you see that the green is mixed in with some white as well, which also gives it a wintry feel despite being a suburb in the forest. So yeah, that's a very unique thing that you see in the game as well. You don't really see any of that elsewhere. So I'm looking forward to see you get a mix of scenery around there. And you'll see autumn trees later, which I'll show you in the upcoming pictures. I also like the way how this is just densely covered in grass too. Just makes the whole thing look scenic as well. Give some more detail onto that. Then, final picture of Jeff Davis that we have for now is, grass going around with same old stuff that I've been saying. More trees with the road going along the way and construction. Anything straightforward. You just see a road work ahead sign with a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. But now, before we're going to move on into other pictures along the Teasers and Stream Progress channel, we're just going to go ahead and take a look on Marcus's random announcements. And he made an announcement on July 7th, which I believe that was the same day he announced, oh no, it was 2 days afterwards for the Jeff Davis. But yeah, on July 7th, he made an announcement to his whole audience in his Discord server. Do you guys prefer empty fields or a dense forest for empty spots? Green for a dense forest and the blue heart for empty flat land fields. And this is how it'll look like on both. You see that the dense forest looks very scenic with the road just going across there, making some nice curves, and it has a nice touch with that 40-mile-per-hour speed limit sign as well. And then this is what it'll look like with a flat land with few trees, flowers, etc. It's all scattered out with some power lines. Not as detailed over there. I personally like the green dense forest much better. And I personally voted for the green heart. And many other people did too. Few people voted for the blue one. And all of us, including myself, just agreed that the green heart representing a dense forest is just much more scenic than a flat land. It just looks much nicer too. I just like the scenery that goes around it with the trees that I go around with all, seeing greenery that you see around it. It just looks nice. I think that's what attracts players to play the game. Not like a whole flat land that you don't see much. I don't really like how a flat land looks. It's just like plain looking, not much detail on power lines. It's like I think you might have seen like power lines in Pleasant Valley, or like even in Newark. It just doesn't look good as the scenic one you've seen over here. Scenic places like you've seen Fontana Dam, Delancey Gorge, and stuff. Now, of course, we need it in every map possible. And, but of course on a different aspect that makes it unique. Like this curve over here. But yeah, just can't help but agree that the dense forest is where it's at. And that's what Marcus has decided to focus on for the foundation of Jonesboro. And I just had to show you this because this is a very important rule that he just made out over here. Very important leak that contributes to the whole game. But anyhow, we're going to move back on to the Teasers and Stream Progress that we have over here, advancing through the pictures down in this tab, or as I should call it, a channel that's in his Discord server. We got some more new confirmed routes for Ultimate Driving Jonesboro. You see that we got US 221 North, along with Georgia Route 4, as you see over here. Got another nice 4-lane highway, except I think this is the most scenic 4-lane highway in the game. Because not only, you just took another highway there, but you also notice how it's like dense forests. You see a lot of trees, like a lot of the recent pictures that you've been seeing for the past couple of minutes. And not only that, all the grass as well. Notice how it's like thick, dense, just go all around the grass. I can't emphasize enough how nice that looks on it, but yeah, and then you see like 2 speed limit signs over here, so yeah, it makes it a very scenic part of Jonesboro. And it's scenic enough that Marcus made it the banner of his Twitter account, as you see over here. And in addition to Jonesboro, more new routes. We got the bypass version of Georgia Route 19, Georgia Route 130, which is the main version. I just saw an alternative route to that earlier. You see that Georgia Route 130 goes west and east. And, you know, with that said, you see that there's a road that goes around, you know, like some nice curve. You know, in the distance, you see that's hilly grass. So you see stuff like that. And he thinks that Georgia Route 19 may be a lot of people's favorite route in the game. But we'll have to see how that goes. We'll just have to see how it all turns out with, you know, amount of people expressing a favorite route. And, you know, now we're going to move on to the interstate. If you guys have been around Ultimate Driving for a while and you're familiar with Jonesboro, which is now a non-Canaan game, you'll definitely know what this interstate used to be. And, you know, he changed the number on it, so it'll be easier to tell where Jonesboro is based at in the state of Georgia. You know, he has all the major routes in place, and only one of them at this point seems out of place now. But yeah, over here, you know, if you guys remember, this used to be Interstate 16, but he changed it to Interstate 20, reflecting on the interstate that goes by Jonesboro in real life. So yeah, I just want to make it easier for people to tell where this is in real life, and I'm actually glad Marcus did that. You know, it's basically the same thing. You know, you see that bridge on the intersection of what formerly was US 441, but you know, I'm sure it's probably something else now, or maybe a 221 or 280. And you see that he says that the next few weeks are about to be amazing. See how there's more detail added onto them. Here's an entrance towards Jonesboro. You see that not only trees are being placed now, you see bushes as well going along the side. And you know, you'll start to see it more obvious in future pictures that we go along on this channel in the Discord server, but we see that there are leaves. There are different colors, like yellow, or brown. There's also like red and orange. You know what that means. And then you see darkened trees in a mix with the summer color bushes as well. So maybe those might be evergreens you see over there. And you see house in distance as well. It's basically stuff that you will see in the city. And then here's the interstate. You know, now you're seeing it's more obvious that you'll see different colors. He's basically combining summer and fall into one map, which I find that incredibly awesome. Now, I'm thinking most Ultimate Driving maps mainly just have summer foliage, and then Index's Fratana Dam has, you know, all autumn foliage, as you see there. But this is very cool that you see a mix of not only summer foliage, but autumn foliage as well, with the different colors among green. Another thing that I love about this interstate that he brought back to, which, you know, I'm glad he did, and finally that he did this, we have a unique exit numbering system. Yeah, that's right, a unique exit numbering system. OGs may remember that the exit numbering system was like 68 and 72, which made it very unique and exciting for people traveling along this interstate, which gives it more of an experience of what it's like to be on this interstate in real life. But, you know, then sadly, you know, as time went on, In Jonesboro, he changed it to exit numbers 1 and 4, but finally, he changed it back. You see a unique exit number now, exit 52. But you see that he's now bringing that unique exit number experience back. And I think many people expressed their concerns about it, or just expressed their opinion about it, saying, you know, hey, 1 to 4 is bland. You know, we want something unique in terms of mileage on the exit signs. And voila, you notice that Marcus has finally brought back, which I'm glad, and I hope he keeps it this way. I'm sure many other people feel the same way as well. But yeah, we're going to go, you know, for more pictures. You see over here that there is exit 52 for US Route 221. Not sure quite yet which exit it takes place. I think it might take place where, you know, Georgia Route 144 was in Jonesboro, along with a mix of Georgia Route 4, I think, and maybe Georgia Route 1 as well. So, but yeah, you see over here that, you know, there's more trees. You know, you see some unique foliage with the leaves, a cool mix of them. And then further in the distance, you see all those omnibuses, and you can see as well this one has, you know, like, you know, thicker needles that you see on there, more like a Christmas tree, but not really. Probably one of those pine trees, or, you know, if I know my trees right. But yeah, I see it. The sign leads to Jonesboro and Thomasville. So now I know that Thomasville is a confirmed town in the game. But yeah, over here, you know, you see that there's the bridge in what used to be, you know, like 144, 1 and 4 for the Georgia routes. It seems like that Marcus still kept Georgia Route 4 in the game from Jonesboro to Jonesboro, but he completely changed the other numbers around it. And, you know, you see a picture of an exit sign further back there on the interstate, and then going along the bridge with, you know, the lanes changing a texture and, you know, color on the bridge. You can definitely see in the distance there is exit number 20 as well. And, you know, then we go over there. He apologizes that it won't look so empty in the final release. I think he was talking about maybe, you know, some of these pictures where it's not as like much detail, but like you see a lot of detail like on the sides. Probably more talking about the middle where it's just flat grass. I think it still looks incredibly awesome the way it is, but, you know, I'm sure Marcus is going to have it more detailed upon the final release. And then you see over here that's one of the exit ramps that lead up to the intersection of US 221 and 4. You know, from that junction, you see, of course, the same stuff that I've been mentioning in the pictures. And you see that there's a bridge in the distance as well, with a nice guardrail that goes along the road. Probably when you're quite some feet up in the air on that road. But now we move on, and then he says I-20 is coming nicely, and just wow, look at that. Look how incredible this looks, with not only green summer foliage around, but also the autumn foliage mixed in there. And, you know, especially it looks good when it's obvious that you see trees with different foliage colors as well. You see colors like, you know, yellow, orange, or maybe that might be like more like a gold color. You know, then you see some reds around the bushes and like some rather like more paler shades. But yeah, and then, you know, you see more awesome foliage in the distance. Just brings out an epic mix, especially with the grass there too. And, you know, then he decided to put more leaks because he said this out that if the Las Vegas Raiders win their preseason game against the Seahawks, he'll drop 3 taser pictures for downtown Jonesboro. Then he announces with excitement that the Las Vegas Raiders are winning 13-0. You know, it talks about the game. And so, since the Raiders won, he decided to drop some pictures. Over here, you see that there is a railroad intersection, but what I find unique about this intersection, like unlike other railroad crossings, this one, like it not only has the gates going all the way up in the air, but also it has the lights that you see on rails for the railroad crossing. You know, I think on railroad crossings in Bulruster's Pleasant Valley, you've definitely seen that there are the gates going up. But now, you have another unique experience where it's just always with the lights being constantly on. Even though there's no train coming or anything, it's going to be stationary if the lights on. So being a cool, unique mixture again, you know, obviously it's not realistic, but, you know, I think it looks nice in Jonesboro just having it that way. Just stationary red lights on with the gates all the way up. And, you know, throughout this railroad crossing. And with the additional scenery you see around it. Next up, we got downtown Jonesboro. And you see some of the traffic lights are like in black boxes, but have yellow outer rectangles around them. And then you see, you know, like some of these like smaller houses, kind of like what you see in Bordenville in the Odessa map. Then you see like an Arrow gas station with some buildings as in for businesses. You also see some red flags down there, so you can definitely tell it's Jonesboro. Usually when you see flags like that, it's going to indicate that's the major city of the game. You know, 20 Pies has the same way arranged for Newark. Oh, yeah, you see, you know, vision of downtown Jonesboro. And then he says, "Welcome to Ultimate Driving, south of the border." So I think this might be south of the border from North Carolina or Tennessee. We'll take a look at that with Google Maps after this. But you see over here that it's merged on with US 221 business heading south along with Georgia Route 19. And you see, you know, like there are some nice picnic tables around there. Nicely arranged with benches. Because usually whenever I see picnic tables, you usually just have like 4 chairs around, which looks nice and stuff, but I think the way Marcus arranged it looks even better, and I wish you would see more of those in real life. And I'm sure there's definitely some out there, but, you know, don't really see that like up where I travel around, or they're not very common. Or maybe it might be Jonesboro in real life, who knows. But yeah, you got, you know, a nice mixture of trees, you know, plants that going around like the sidewalks, you know, then like up in the distance as you see over there. So if you look on Google Maps by what Marcus means south of the border, notice that Jonesboro is south of Atlanta in real life. Go ahead, take a look over there. But, you know, if you go ahead, you know, up to the top of the state, so let's just say Union County, Georgia, because that's what I had on there before. You know, look over here, you see that there's a highlighted county, and it could be based on any one of these areas in real life. I'm sure south of the border won't be from South Carolina, since that is east of Georgia, but it could definitely be from North Carolina or Tennessee. What makes it even better with this area being south of southern North Carolina and Tennessee is that southern North Carolina and Tennessee is based around in Fontana Dam. So I think what's going to happen is that Index and Marcus are working together to have a border come out from Fontana Dam on one end, and then in the future, once the teleportation systems are out, you could just easily teleport into Jonesboro. Like right now, you can see the end that leads into Jonesboro. Now, I'm not sure where exactly be at, it will be like in Tennessee and North Carolina. More likely, I think it might be Tennessee, but we don't know. I mean, it could be North Carolina too. So, yeah, because you could definitely see like the Nantahala National Forest and Fontana Dam in southern North Carolina, with Tallahassee being around there, Tellico Plains and stuff. Definitely leads down like into Tennessee. So, you know, I think this may eventually turn out to, you know, where that Fontana Dam and Jonesboro are going to intersect in borders. Now, I'm not sure if there'll be a point where southern Tennessee will be at the bottom, or maybe north Tennessee, or maybe Index might make another game based in the Nantahala National Forest and go into Georgia, but I think it's very likely that, you know, Jonesboro will be bordered up with Fontana Dam, which I think that's awesome, just having like two scenic games bordered together, one being extremely mountainous, you know, more than Delancey Gorge, as Index says, it's the hardcore version. Now, you know, Jonesboro, it's like, yeah, you still see a highly forested area, and still like some elevation. It's just like not as steep as Fontana Dam, but you know, still to a point where it's like very scenic, curvy, and you know, somewhat up in the, you know, air elevation. But yeah, that's what I have to say about, you know, Jonesboro being, you know, south of the Tennessee or North Carolina border. There's some very good potential to that. But now let's move on to other leaks that await us. Then he releases more pictures, and you know, sooner enough, you know, before we get down to that, we're going to look at the official announcements over there. But right now, we're going to take a look at the next three pictures. Here's a thumbnail of episode 72 for Ultimate Driving Leaks. Now, I think this is personally my favorite picture of all. And I think now I'm starting to see a reason why Georgia Route 19, or maybe even the bypass, may be people's favorite route in the game. It's not only like orange or gold, like with, you know, green, I guess, like for the trees and bushes. But also now I'm starting to see a darker color, like a very dark red, or, you know, maybe even close to, you know, towards purple. I think it's like a very dark red though. Yeah, and then you see a mixture of yellow, orange around that, with just the rural road of Georgia Route 19 going along that with detailed grass around it. This is my favorite taser that he has for a game. You know, I think this is, you know, one of my favorite parts of Jonesboro, but I think, you know, this part in particular is a part that I really like, with the mixture of colors they have for the trees, and you see how like spaced out they're done so in a nice way. You know, Marcus has done an amazing, fantastic job on this. Yeah, you see that there's the Jonesboro bypass. You know, you see some elevation changes towards the left. You know, I'm sure it won't be, you know, something on the right. Probably have more trees around it, but yeah, you know, you see sky throughout the distance. You see roads, you know, more trees around it with that autumn foliage that I really like it. I'm sure many of you guys really like it as well. And then you see the intersection of Georgia Route 130 and US 280. And over here, you know, you see a Y shape that's split up over there. And, you know, you see, you know, same stuff that I've been mentioning. And then it goes on through a 4-lane highway. It's a cool intersection to have for Y merging on. Yeah, I'm sure that looks very nice. And then, you know, before you get all excited about this, we are going to take a look at some official announcements. So, over here, you know, he announced this on October 16th. He said, with Jonesboro completion around the corner, I shall be focusing most of my energy into my next installment into Ultimate Driving. For those who were here for the first Q&A in this server, y'all might have an idea what it is too. Now, I wasn't here like when the Q&A was going on. Obviously, I'm a busy person, but I'm sure the people who were here in this Q&A have an idea of what the game would be. And then this and that, he announces that beta testing for Jonesboro should be around November. Expect it to be able to play it on Thanksgiving break. So you see, that's clearly a time to look forward to. I think Thanksgiving break is probably the most popular time that you'll see new maps come out, most common as well. Now I remember how exciting it was 3 years ago, or at least if you're looking at it from Thanksgiving break, where Index released Ultimate Driving Monroe, which was extremely successful, by the way. I'm sure people were so excited to play that and give a unique feel of what it's like to be large city in Index's design. But then moving on from that, as he announced that Ultimate Driving Jonesboro would be coming out on Thanksgiving break, he said from October 16th, the only thing left to do is filling in terrain, adding races, and beautification. So yeah, that's something to look forward to right there with the whole map coming out. Obviously, more has been done since that was announced. So from there, I'm sure more terrain has been filled out. Races are probably in the process, or maybe could already be done. Who knows with the beautification? We don't know how the exact process is going out, but I'm sure that he has advanced more than what he has announced on October 16th since then. I'm sure that from the time that's going on, he's getting closer and closer to getting Jonesboro done. In fact, I think it's almost done if you're really looking at it. And then, final announcement that we'll be talking about on the official announcements over here. He'll be releasing more details about a separate upcoming project soon in a detailed document. I'm going to be taking a different approach with this next upcoming game, which is going to be different from Jonesboro, and we can tell that it's separate from the final leak we're going to look at after we go over this. In a future episode, we'll definitely go over what this detailed document will cover, and what's going to be in this next game that Marcus is going to put into development. Now obviously we have almost the first one going out in beta. It's going to be very interesting how progress is going to go for the second game. Who knows, maybe sooner enough after beta. I guess to make sure that there's not any bugs left from where people are playing it. Soon enough, probably a couple of months afterwards, he's going to release the game and probably add some more details. Now I think with Jonesboro being on beta, he's going to make Jeff Davis bigger and add updates to it and stuff. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. And it seems like Marcus has now been on a very successful approach in developing his games. Now, before, we can definitely understand that he's been busy with college. So, that's kind of just been preventing him from working on it. And even then, when he was working on Jonesboro, there were times where he was busy in college. But whatever free time he had, I'm sure he was devoting it on Jonesboro. And maybe probably doing some other things on the side, but I'm sure he was very passionate about the development in Ultimate Driving Jonesboro. But yeah, be on the lookout in a future episode for this detailed document that'll go into Marcus's second game. And when we go on to Teasers and stream progress, it says development for the next project starts soon. Next project right there are two key words that this is going to be a separate map that he's developing on. And he said that he will let us know, because this project that he's going to work on will be a fun one, and I'm sure it will be. You can already see that he included a real-life picture of Georgia Route 204, so this is going to be very interesting as you see this route going west to east. I'm sure that's not in Jonesboro, but it will be on this new upcoming map that Marcus plans to start development on, in addition to Jonesboro being in the second map. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video right there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video very much. You may like this video. Comment your thoughts below about all the tasers that are behind the scenes with Jonesboro. What do you think about the upcoming map with all the tasers, you see, with its development? I'm sure all of you guys are looking forward to it, and I am too. I can't wait to do a full tour on this map. And I'm sure this will definitely be Marcus's first Ultimate Drawing map that actually get released. So yeah, this is something fun to look forward to. Feel free to also join my Discord server in the description. And be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications, as I like to upload Ultimate Driving content, as well as some car content in real life. Yeah, anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.